Hi everyone, I'm Jared and this is For Your Health. Okay, in full disclosure, this is a project I'm doing for my BSN program. I can't offer you anything for participating except the joy that it might bring you that you helped me complete another project. So For Your Health is a workplace wellness program. The purpose statement is this project will provide participants with the skills needed to make small daily changes that will lead to long-term improvements in their level of health. The goals of this project are 80% of the participants will be able to state a dietary strategy that will help them lose or maintain weight loss, and after participation in the program, 80% of participants will be able to report that they feel prepared to make one or more lifestyle changes in their life. And this is going to be done with a follow-up survey that I'll provide a link to in about 2 weeks. So the basic overview of this is I'll provide you with some diet strategies, some exercise strategies, and some lifestyle strategies that'll help you make changes in your life to hopefully improve your current level of health. And I'm going to break this down into 2 videos, so hopefully I won't take up too much of your time, but you'll learn something great from it. The 3 points we're going to be getting into in this video are to eat less calories than you burn, and eat more protein, eat mostly nutrient-rich foods, and follow a diet you can enjoy long-term. We're going to get into more detail about this in the following slides. So our first point is to follow a diet that helps you eat less calories than you burn and eat more protein. There isn't a perfect diet. There aren't any 21-day fixes, 7-day cleanses, 45-day fasts, what are the other ones, a detox, any of these type of diets. Unless it's going to help you change your long-term dietary patterns, it's not going to fix anything. So what you can do is to look at diets in a way that are going to be promoting long-term success. And the best way to do that is to find one that's going to help you eat less calories than you burn and eat more protein. So the strategies for this are to eat more high-quality foods. You want to limit the amount of junk food and processed foods you're eating, but you don't need to completely eliminate them from your diet. You just need to pay some special attention to how much you're eating. A great trick you can use on yourself is to use smaller containers and serving dishes. This is just to trick yourself into not overeating. People have this natural tendency when they have a plate and a serving dish to basically fill up the plate as much as they can. They don't like seeing empty spots on the plate. And some people even reinforce these plates so they can hold even more. So one great strategy you can use is to switch to smaller serving dishes and containers. This will limit the amount that you can eat, so it'll help prevent you from overeating. One strategy I like to use is if I'm having ice cream, I'll use a toddler spoon and a toddler dish, because the most ice cream that you can fit in those bowls is like half a cup, maybe a cup, compared to the basic bowls that you have in your cabinet, which you can hit 2, 3, maybe 4 cups in, and that's 2, 3, 4 more servings, which could come up to 800, 1,000 calories more than you meant to eat. So that can really screw up your diet. So try to use some smaller utensils and serving dishes. So drink calorie-free beverages. The important thing to remember here, drinks are an easy way to get too many calories, and this is why a lot of people are putting on weight with the sugary beverages out there, is because you can get a lot of volume in and a lot of calories in a short amount of time. Also, you need to kind of be wary about fruit juices, because many of them claim that they're healthy choices for you, but if you actually look at the nutritional label, they're about equivalent in sugar content to regular sodas. And these are processed, so they remove the nutrients, they remove the fiber, and you're just left with the flavored sugar water that they add sugar to make it even more appealing to your taste buds. And it's better off to just stick with calorie-free beverages or water if you can. You can have some zero-calorie drinks, but try to keep them in moderation. And if you ever run into some problems, or you just want to see how you're doing, try to track your food intake for a couple days and just see what you're eating, what are your trends, and how many calories you're taking in. Okay, protein is very beneficial for your health. It helps your hair grow, your nails grow, your skin, it helps muscle growth. It has a long list of benefits for you. Some of the things that people don't really think about is protein has a unique attribute in that it can help you feel fuller longer compared to fats or carbs that you might be eating. So it can help keep you feeling satisfied, so you're not as hungry as often. Also, it's a muscle sparing, so that means if you're on a diet and you're eating more protein, there's less chance that you're going to be losing skeletal muscle instead of body fat when you're decreasing your calories. It'll also keep your strength up, and it actually requires more calories to digest per gram than fats or carbs, so it might help increase your energy expenditure throughout the day, which can add up over a long time, but it's not going to really make or break a diet. Point 2, eat mostly nutrient-rich foods. So you want to eat a wide variety of foods. You can focus on your fresh fruits that are high in fiber and nutrients. They taste good. They're a good source of carbs. Your vegetables, they're high in fiber. They can help you feel full and keep you regular. Your legumes or your beans, they're also high in fiber and will keep you regular. Your nuts and oils, they're a little higher in fat, but fat has had a poor reputation until more recently. So back in 1955, there was a nutritional scientist named Ansel Keys that published a study that linked dietary fat intake and cardiovascular disease. A year later, the American Heart Association accepted his results, and they made this giant campaign that recommended that all citizens should eat high carbohydrate diets and low fat because it would decrease the risk of cardiovascular disease. Unless you live under a rock, you've seen something that says that fats are heart protective. Eating fats is good for your heart. So what happened with his research is we learned later that he did something a little unethical with his research, and he cherry-picked the data that supported his link, but he excluded countries that didn't strongly support it. The thing that was interesting about this is even after the fact, another researcher came by, and he included the countries that Keys excluded originally, and there was still a correlation between dietary fat intake and cardiovascular disease. So everyone knows now that there are different fats. We know that saturated fats and trans fats are the ones that are linked to cardiovascular disease, but our monounsaturated and your polyunsaturated fats, your fish oils, your omega oils, are actually beneficial to your health. So you want to focus on making these your primary source of fat. So these are the ones from fish, they're from plants, they're from nuts. You can also focus on eating low-fat dairy, and occasionally you can have some higher-fat dairy. It's a high source of calcium and protein. Lean meats are also a great source of protein. So desserts are okay occasionally. You can't follow a diet long-term that restricts a food group completely. It's not fun and it's not healthy. Being too strict on anything sets you up for failure. You don't learn the skills that you need to deal with setbacks. You have to be flexible. You have to enjoy the foods and your desserts here and there, but have the ability to stay on your diet. Cravings suck, and giving into your cravings can help you feel better, and it can help you stick to your diet better in the long term. It can help you be more social and have a life. If you're too restrictive, you're never going to go out, and you're never going to have a good time with your friends. You're not going to enjoy any foods because you're afraid of calories. Don't let your diet control your life. It's just not healthy. You can even use a strategy to plan free meals or cheat meals, and just try to arrange them on birthdays, anniversaries, special occasions. Make adjustments during the day before that, and then get back on track the next day. There's a lot of stuff out there that talks about being the difference between a rigid diet and a flexible diet, and they find that the people who are more rigid with a diet actually can't stick with it long term because they're so strict they don't know how to deal with little bumps, and there's going to be little bumps on your dieting journey. So it's important to learn that you can deal with these setbacks and learn the strategies to deal with them. So desserts are okay, but don't overdo it. Point 3, follow a diet that can be enjoyed long term. Dieting can be hard, and if you don't like it, it is going to be even harder. You need to focus on following a diet that you like and something that you can follow for the long term. Dieting's hard. When you try to follow a diet you don't like, you're setting yourself up for failure. When you come up with your meal plan and your diet, focus on things that you like and stuff that you can eat regularly. If you don't know what you like, try new recipes, try new foods, incorporate them into your diet, find out what works, stick with it. So how to craft the long-term diet. To make your diet plan, these are some effective strategies for success. Eat foods that you like. Don't force yourself to eat things you hate. I know I've tried diets in the past where I had to eat a lot of tuna, and I hate tuna. And I can tell you, those diets didn't work. So try to eat what you like. Focus on eating protein with every meal and whole foods. And if you're in a pinch, protein shakes are quick, easy, and they can really help you out. You can still have bread, pasta, and things like that on occasion, but try to focus on getting your carbs from fruits and vegetables. So these are some helpful tips that are going to change your eating behaviors. You need to watch your portion size and eat slower. You can see in the picture it's easy to fill the plate and eat what's put in front of you. So you need to try to focus on eating smaller bites and eating slower. It takes time for your stomach to tell your brain that you're full. So some simple things you can do is try to put down the fork between bites. Try to talk between bites. Have a conversation with somebody. Don't sit down with the sole portion of stuffing your face and getting out of there as fast as you can. Some other things that you can do is the am I full test, or the how much more test. Is when you're eating and you want to have seconds or another portion, give yourself a couple minutes before you go up and get more. Ask yourself if you're still hungry or if you're full and you're just overstuffing yourself more. You want to avoid distractions when you're eating, like sitting in front of the computer or the TV. This leads to what's called distracted eating. This is where you just keep shoveling food in your mouth, not because you're hungry, but because you're not really paying attention to how much you're eating. So, to the best of your abilities, try not to sit in front of the TV and eat popcorn or snack on nuts. I mean, nuts and popcorn are great, but if you're eating in front of the TV, you're going to end up with a whole bag gone before you know it. Learning how to cook. Learning to cook by itself will drastically improve your likelihood of success in a diet. If you learn how to cook and cook your own food, your chance of success improves drastically. Eating out at restaurants makes it hard to follow a diet. Restaurants aren't in business to get you to eat and get you to come back and eat more. There are numerous other problems with restaurants. Many of the meals have hidden calories like extra butter, bread or butter before the meal, extra dressing that you might ask for, extra cheese, ketchup. There's calories everywhere that you might not be aware of. But if you cook your own food, you'll know exactly what's going into it. So your likelihood of success just goes up drastically. So there aren't many chefs out there that are going to take out the measuring cup to portion out your food. They're not going to measure out 3/4 a cup of noodles and put it on your plate. They're just going to take a scoop, put it on, put the sauce on it, and send it out to you. And most restaurants report their calories, but they can be drastically underestimated. When it comes down to it, you can end up getting portions that are 2 or 3 times larger than you would eat at home. So learning how to cook and making your own food is a really important strategy. Eating out at restaurants can have a lot of discrepancies in calories. Here's one I found from just Red Lobster. So the snow crab and seafood bake from 2 different websites, they changed pretty good. At Fat Secret, which is just a calorie counting website, it's at 970 calories, 56 grams of fat, 60 grams of protein, 56 grams of carbs. And you go down to the next website, iChange said this meal was 1,020 calories, 53 grams of fat, 39 grams of protein, and 78 grams of carbohydrates. So you can see they're drastically different. And if you're trying to count your calories and keep track of your nutritional intake, I mean, which one do you believe? You really can't trust it. So make sure you learn how to cook, make your own food, limit how much you go out to eat, but still try to do it once in a while if you're having a craving and you need it. So you need to learn to enjoy your treats, not to be overly restrictive, and enjoy them on occasions. You can have desserts in a long-term diet, and in the end, if it helps you stick to your diet longer, go ahead and do it. And if you do it right. Go for the real thing. Don't get the cheap sugar-free knockoff versions. None of them taste good, and they're just replacing the real thing. People actually have a tendency to eat more of the fake stuff than they would have if they would have went for the real stuff instead. So a trick you can use is try to go for the more expensive gourmet stuff, because you're actually going to get less calories per dollar than you would if you were going to buy something cheap. For instance, you can spend $5 and get a ton of Reese's peanut butter cups and just get thousands of calories, when if you were going to go to the shop down the street, the bakery down the street, and spend $5 on a cupcake, you might be limiting yourself to 390, 500 calories. So it's hard to justify buying another one when it costs that much too. So that's another great strategy. And you want to try to make sure your cravings are fed with a small portion. So if you are having a hard time losing weight or your weight loss stalls, try to track your calories a little bit. there are lots of things out there that are going to help making this easier. It used to be hard because you had to read the labels and everything and put them into your calculator, but there are great apps out there that make this extremely easy. So when you do get your calories, start with 10 to 12 calories per pound of about where you want to be. This isn't meaning you're 200 pounds and you want to be 150, so you're basing your calories on 150 pounds. Keep it realistic. Set your calories for weight that's 10, maybe 20% less than what you're currently at now, and then focus that as your calorie point. Next, you're going to set your macronutrients. You can set your fat at about 0.75 to a gram per pound. I know it's higher than most people recommend, but if you're exercising, you really need that amount of protein. Fat should only be about 10 to 15% of your daily calories. Some people do better with higher percentages of fat. You can go up to about 40%, but any higher than that, it could get close to being in like a keto type diet, which some people can do and some people can't, but that's beyond what we want to talk about in this video. So carbohydrates, try to keep them under 20%, but if you're really active and you're working out for hours at a time or preparing to run a marathon or a triathlete or something like that, you can go a little bit higher and use a calorie tracking tool. There's lots of apps out there that's going to make this easy for you. I know My Macros Plus is a pretty easy one that's out there. It's great. You just put it on your phone, put in what you ate, and it keeps track of everything. So fighting hunger. Everybody gets hungry in a diet. But you need to learn strategies that you can do to fight it and keep it at bay. The best thing you can do is prepare your meals ahead of time and freeze them. If you have meals ready, you're less likely to just wander around eating whatever you can get a hold of or going out to eat. Keep fresh fruits in plain sight, so they're more likely to snack on them. Eliminate the bad foods from your house, and if you can't get rid of them, make them hard to get to. One strategy I try is I keep my ice cream out in the deep freeze, so it's harder for me to get to instead of in the refrigerator. So I walk past the refrigerator, 10, 15, 20 times a day, but I might go past the deep freeze once or not at all. So it's just less likely that I'm going to go in there and pull some out. You have chocolate, just keep it in the back of your cabinet where it's harder to get to. And if you're strapped for time and you still need a meal, protein shakes have gotten to be pretty good lately. They're quick and easy meals, and they're great when you're traveling or time restricted. One of the last things we're going to talk about is if you have tried all of these strategies and you're not losing weight or losing weight too slowly and you want professional health, go to the American Board of Obesity Medicine website and find a specialist. There are some medications out there that can help with hunger pains and make it a little bit easier for you to lose weight. You're still going to have to do the work, but the professional supervision they can provide you with is just going to drastically change what's going on. So you need to talk to them first. Bariatric surgeries is an option, but don't turn to it quickly. I was actually reading an article yesterday about a lady that had a complication that many people get with laparoscopic banding that aren't compliant with their diet after the banding is they end up ingesting too much food and having esophageal dilation where they actually form a giant pocket of air from eating too much, then it has nowhere to go. So that's just a crazy side story. But if you've made a lot of honest attempts at dieting and it hasn't worked, try to see a specialist. And this means you haven't cheated, you've stuck with your calories, you didn't sneak foods, you exercised and it's not coming off, then see a specialist, because you're just going to be spinning your wheels and you're not going to be getting anywhere. And that's when you really need to bring in a specialist to help you reach your goal. And you got to focus on your progress, not your perfection. Diet's only a third of what it takes to have an healthy lifestyle. Learn from your mistakes. Don't repeat them and keep going forward. You can't dwell on them. You just have to learn ways to deal with things. So that's it for our first. We're going to follow this up in the next video with some overview of nutrition and lifestyle modifications. Thank you.